it's Eriss. You might be wondering if the video's thumbnail and title is clickbait, and let me tell you.
I wish it was.
There is a twist to it though. You see, I did in fact make a full comic in a week, but please don't think of anything big like a full 60 chapter long, well thought out story with a wild plot twist. I made a one-shot in a week. It's up on Webtoon if you're interested, so go read it. I'll leave a link for y'all in the description. Now let me explain to you how this whole thing came to be. The first time I thought about making a one-shot myself was after I read quite a lot on other sites and thought, well, isn't it just nice that you don't have to wait for updates and you just get the whole experience in one go? It's the greatest thing about one-shots. In a way, they're like movies, except movies do usually have better character development in them, but we're not here to talk about movies today. So, it's also not a secret that I like BL. So obviously, I wanted my first one-shot to be BL, but I didn't want to go into any dangerous territories, so I thought a nice cute one would be good to make, something most people can enjoy. So I came up with a relatively cliche idea. Get this, manga artist, ex-fan, who ends up helping out. Seems simple yet sweet. The problem was with writing this one is I don't really read enough casual cute stories for this. In fact, all the other one-shot ideas I wrote down, which I may or may not do in the future, depends on the response, and my other actual full-fleshed comic ideas aren't really on the sweet side of things. I'm not very well versed in writing cute stories about love, so I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. But then I came back to it and wrote it pretty decently at around spring 2020. And I just left it, I really did. And then I came back to it to visit it again in September to rewrite parts I was unhappy with. I tried illustrating the first few pages, 2 times exactly, and then leaving them at that. The first 2 failed times were around the end of spring and the middle of summer. So that's about it, the whole preps before this 1-week idea I came up with, sitting on a bus thinking of good ways to challenge myself. Now we're looking back to early September. I thought to myself, I surely need to think that for such a ridiculous idea as drawing a whole comic in a week, right? And so I came up with this at school. Step 1, make a plan. At this point my brain had many things tangled, so this was the funniest first step I could think of at the time. Especially because I did this 1-week comic in October, and the other artists out there watching this might have an idea already why this was the worst time to do this. Like literally, I couldn't have picked a worse time of the year than October. Yes, I was also doing Gortober that month, and not to brag, but I actually completed it too, so I'm gonna give myself some credit on that one, if you don't mind. And this is how my calendar looked. It might look a bit messy to you, and I don't blame you. It is quite messy. But if you can figure it out, oh boy, you might just feel the pain that I did. Step 2, draw thumbnail pages on a paper. Very good step indeed. Helped me a lot not to get lost while I was working and such. For anyone who doesn't know, a lot of comic artists first write a script. At least I do for sure. Then they make a little miniature simplified sketch of how they want the pages to look when they're done. Like the ones you see on the screen right now, they are the ones I made. Not much is obvious to someone who, well, isn't me, but I found it very useful, although I never used it for my comics that are updated weekly. Because I just can't find the time, at this point it's not really a necessity for those. But regardless, this is a very useful practice that I'd like to do more in the future. And in fact, I am currently doing it with a comic I'll hopefully be publishing this summer. Step 3, divide the number of big pages by 7. Now what I mean here by big pages is just the full version of a page. Basically, what you see on Webtoon is a bunch of long pages broken down into smaller parts to fit Webtoon standards with the pixel and size regulations. And of course, dividing it by 7 is just for me to know how many big pages I have to make in a day to meet the deadline. Step 4, make it in 7 days. I think you can figure this one out. Step 5, format them. I'm referring back to step 3's explanation about big pages and smaller pieces here. I call it formatting. I'm not sure if it's like the real term to use here. I'm pretty sure it's not, but this is what I use. So basically, I just cut the big pages down into smaller sizes in this step. Step 6, publish. So now we published, but of course, I ran into problems here. It happens quite a lot with Webtoon's system, unfortunately. They only let us upload 20 megabytes for one episode, so for most of the time, at least for me, because at Flying School the episodes are quite long compared to what the site lets me have in one episode. And with this one shot, the same thing happened. But no worries! There's this great program that I recommend if you're also a webcomic creator. It's called Caesium, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's chef's kiss. It can compress picture files so well you barely see a difference. Yet it takes less storage, it's great, really. And it's very simple to use too. I use it when I'm in trouble with an episode. Not sponsored, by the way, but hey, Caesium, hit me up, you know. Phase 5, execution. Here, the video behind me is streaming my first day of starting this 1 week project. I stream on Twitch, by the way. If any of y'all are interested, I'll leave a link below. So, the way I calculated how the schedule should be was this. Since I had 19 pages to draw, dividing that by 7 equals 2 point lots of other numbers. So that means that I had to do 3 each day, and on the last day I had to do 1. Well, that was the plan. That turned out to be 2 on the last day, because second to last day of this whole challenge thing, I was slacking a bit, I ain't gonna lie. But in the end, the point is that I did do all the 19 pages in a week, so that's victory, right? Not yet. We have come to the final phase of this nightmare, a wonderful experience. I had to make some hype for this first, because publishing it and not getting any attention after all the trouble I've gone through would be absolutely devastating. So I made promo art, which ended up being the cover as well. I made a version with the release date on it, posted it on Instagram, made a countdown on my story, and everything was set to go. So, we have come to the end of this video. You might be asking yourself, was it really worth it? To sacrifice your 1 week of fall break for this? I can't say for certain, but there are some objective facts that might prove you otherwise. For example, on the first day of the release, it has gotten 50 likes, and also around that many subs, I don't remember exactly. I was absolutely blown away, because I wasn't expecting it to get this much attention compared to my other works. It was huge. Normally I get like 10 likes on an episode I make, no matter which comic. On the first week's end, nothing huge happened after the big blow up after the first night, but now at the time of writing the script for this video, I'll put the new screenshot in if anything drastically changes while I'm editing. It has exactly 107 subs, 90 likes, and 26 comments on it, which is mind-blowing for me personally. This has only been out for like not even a month at the time of writing this, and it has received the attention none of my other comics have. While other comics of mine have better stats altogether, they come together as each episode goes on, and this is just a one-shot. It has gained this much on its own with a single episode. I couldn't be happier. But if you wanted to give it a look, that would be great. I know, of course, it's not perfect, but people wanting more in the comments is really inspiring to me. I also hope I can motivate you to do something fun. Well, this was a horrendous experience for me. Because of when I did it, I might end up making some new one-shots in the future, along with my planned comics, who knows? Let me stop you right there. Hi, it's future Eriss talking. I will make more one-shots in the future, and I'll be sure to stream them on Twitch as well. If you're interested, I plan on renaming my one-shot webtoon to Eriss's one-shot collection and have the titles of the one-shots as the episode titles. So if you want to see more of this and not miss out, then be sure to subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Also, it'd be great if you could subscribe here on YouTube too. It's free and you can always change your mind. Until next time, thank you so much for watching!